Good evening to the Garfield Heights City School District 2021-2022 school calendar hearing. We had our hearing at the February 8th work session meeting, but tonight we want to take the opportunity to open up public comments. Mr. Hanke?
Thank you, Mrs. Daniels, or President Daniels, excuse me. If you'd like to have a comment about the calendar, we are going to put it up on the screen. You can email Mr. Saluka at asluka@ghbulldogs.org. asluka@ghbulldogs.org. This calendar was created in conjunction with the cabinet with some feedback from the Garfield Heights Teachers Association. And as we discussed at the last board meeting, it was a relatively traditional calendar. Mr. Bill, do you mind panning down a little bit? One of the things we wanted to highlight that we wanted to add was where the quarters end. The first quarter ends on October 22nd. The second quarter, if you go down a little bit, Mrs. Bailey, ends on January 13th. And again, that's a little non-traditional from the last couple of years because we did move the start of school further into August for planning purposes and to make sure that everyone was ready for school. And the third quarter ends on April 1st. Now, what we have here is we did move spring break into March. It is toward the end of the third quarter. It's the third week in March. And then we added a couple of days around the Easter holiday for those who observe it. The reason we did that is because Easter falls, we try to have them go in conjunction, but Easter falls pretty late on in the calendar. If you can pan down, Mrs. Bailey. We do have the last day of school on June 8th with a teacher professional development day on June 9th. Can you go to the bottom, Mrs. Bailey? We do have the starting and ending times for all of the schools. Those are what we were doing pre-pandemic. So they are similar. The one major change you'll notice that we are not going back to is late arrival Thursday. We are proposing that the elimination of that day, weekly day for PD. We believe we can absorb that professional development into our work day in the afternoon and with our PD days throughout the year. A couple of things for breaks, I suppose I can point out here. Winter break is in, it doesn't start like with 2 weeks straight. It starts on the 22nd and then ends on January 3rd. January 3rd is a winter break day. We put that in there because the January 1st New Year's holiday kind of backs up a little bit into the way the weeks fall. So, and then we'll start again on January 4th. Again, pretty traditional calendar for as I said earlier on in the work session, for what we hope it is going to be a traditional year. We do welcome any comment here before the regular board meeting starts. Mr. Sluka, do we have anything? Nothing yet? I don't know if the board members have heard any comment they'd like to share or any other suggestions or additions or subtractions.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Again, then what we do is we have this on for the regular February Board of Education meeting for approval. If there are any updates, we certainly can make them, or if there are major suggestions we need to consider, we can look at them with the board at the work session in February. March. I apologize, folks. I was a day behind yesterday with the snow day, and now I'm a month behind. At the March work session of March regular meeting. Thank you. Thank you for that mistake.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So, you know, our hope with this calendar is that it does move it back a little bit into August, and we think that that's going to be important for planning purposes for the kids and for the staff. There's a number of folks that contractually start on August 1st, and so this helps us, get everything together for the year. Won't substantially affect sports season in the fall. Sports season is really controlled by the Ohio High School Athletic Association, and those games are set in stone, and also practices are as well. When our sports teams can practice are generally set by the Ohio High School Athletic Association. So, that's how that works. Other than that, I don't have too much. So, I guess we can ask Mr. Krasnow. Mr. Krasnow, our coordinator of athletics and activities this year, since we have a little time before we get. Was I right, Mr. Krasnow, on the way that's with practices? And
yeah, actually, the later start coincides better with spring sports, because spring sports usually your state tournaments aren't until June, where typically you'd be out of school. I'm not sure what was the first. What was the start of school date?
August 25th.
August 25th. I believe the first football game is actually August 20th.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have one football game prior to school starting this upcoming school year.
Which isn't unusual.
No, it's not unusual.
Which is not.
It's usually right around that date. So.
Can we announce your email address, Mr. Sluka, or is it posted for comments?
Oh, in fact, you know what I could do, President Daniels, is I could send out a reminder right now, again, with these email addresses.
No, we just announced it over
Yeah,
this.
well, that's the start of the meeting.
You did, okay.
And I'll do it right now again. If you have a public comment about the calendar, it's ASLUKA at GHBulldogs, that's plural, bulldogs.org. You can send those to Mr. Sluka, and we'll answer your questions.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's turning it off, that's why maybe it just shut it down.
like to announce that our board meeting will be starting shortly. If you could be patient with us, we are working out some technical difficulties in the building. As soon as that is resolved, we will resume our meeting. Thank you.
Give the head, are we ready, Ms. Neely?
Okay.
Good evening. Calling to order Garfield Heights City School District, February 16th, regular board meeting. Roll call, please.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Mr. Juby, Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels.
Yes. Good evening and welcome to the Garfield Heights City School District Board meeting. Can I have a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
I make a motion to adopt tonight's agenda.
Second. That was moved by Ms. Thomas and second by Ms. King. Roll call, please.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels.
Yes. Thank you. We would like to take a moment of silent reflection. If we can please have a moment of silence. Thank you. And if we can have Ms. Morrison lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
That was moved by Ms. King and second by Ms. Thomas. Can I have roll call, please?
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels.
Yes. Is there any discussion? With no discussion, it was a vote of 4. The next item on our agenda this evening is the board president's report. This evening, I would like to begin my report by welcoming incoming board member Heather Morrison, who joins the Garfield Heights City School Board of Education after filling the vacancy created by the resignation of Christine Kitson within the last several weeks. After publicly posting the position and following the appropriate protocols, Ms. Morrison was selected, and we are confident that she will do a fine job. Thank you to Ms. Kitson for your time on the board, and we welcome Ms. Morrison for being the addition to the Garfield Heights City School District. We welcome you again. Teachers and staff members returned to the building last week to begin the formal process of preparing their classrooms and spaces for our scholars' arrival on Monday, March 8th. Teachers and staff members also received their vaccinations as a preparatory measure to keep themselves and those around them as safe as possible. Thank you to our devoted and hardworking staff for all of your efforts. In my capacity as board president, I attended the National School Board Association's Equity Symposium along with 1,000 of my fellow board members and administrators from across the country. An equitable education system helps all students develop the knowledge and skills they need to be engaged and become productive members of society. My participation at this symposium equipped me with the knowledge and tools to support the governance of our district's commitment to equity. This evening, Mr. Hankey will discuss the strategic plan at great length, and we will have a presentation on it this evening. On behalf of the Board of Education, I want to thank Superintendent Hankey for first introducing this ideal to the board more than a year ago, and then persevering through the COVID pandemic to keep us on track to complete this process. I also thank with sincere gratitude the many community members who participated on the steering committee and focus group for their input. The strategic plan will guide our district over the next 5 years and is truly a community-based and collaborative effort. Thank you to everyone who played a role in making the completion of this plan possible. Finally, with every month is an opportunity to recognize and celebrate the achievements of African Americans. The month of February is a special occasion where we as a community can truly join together and share in the pride, accomplishments, and achievements of Black history in our nation. I even sit here tonight as a part of Black history for our school district as the first African American to serve as Garfield Heights City School District Board of Education President. I share that humbly, but with pride, because representation is the lens in which we dream. And I sit here as a representation of our future leaders. I'm extremely proud of the Garfield Heights City School District and our efforts to create meaningful activities and opportunity for fun experiences for our entire community to truly commemorate Black History Month. Special thanks to Ms. Hamilton and Ms. Wilson for their efforts to make Black History Month so special this year in our district. Tonight, I would like to leave our students with this quote from Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. I say to our students, your education is the most powerful thing you will ever possess, and the Board of Education is committed to assuring that our students will have equal access and opportunity to change this world. Please remain safe and healthy in the days ahead as we prepare for the return of the students and staff to the building. With that, I conclude my report. Thank you very much. The next item on our agenda this evening is our committee reports. Do we have any reports this evening?
I have a short report.
Ms. Thomas?
For student activities, our winter sports season is almost complete for all teams. Both our boys and our girls bowling teams recently won the LEL tournament. Congratulations. And our girls team qualified as a team for districts next weekend. Joe Leonard for our boys team also qualified. Major purchases include Huddle, which is a program that stores and shares all of our game films. That concludes my report. Happy Black History Month.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Will there be any more reports? Madam President, I have a report. Ms. King?
I have a report from the happenings in the city of Garfield Heights. Interim Mayor Matt Burke was sworn in on Monday, February 1st, 2020. The Legislative Committee will meet tonight, February 16th, 2021 at 6:30 to review applications submitted to fill the vacant Ward 6 City Council seat due to Matt Burke's assumption of the interim mayor position. Interviews will occur Wednesday, February 17th and Friday, February 19th if needed at 6:30. All meetings can be viewed via Zoom. The meeting ID is 893-1547-4985. The next regular city council meeting is scheduled for Monday, February 22nd via Zoom, and you can locate that at the same meeting ID number, which is 983-1547-4985, and that meeting will start at 7 p.m. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. King. I do have two reports. I have a legislative liaison report. On Thursday, February 18th, Superintendent Chris Hankey will be testifying in front of the Ohio House Education Committee on behalf of the First Spring School Districts. His testimony is advocating for the state to waive all testing requirements for the school year due to the impact of the pandemic on student learning. The argument is that we have substantial internal data through MAC, and we will need to focus on social emotional well-being of our students. That concludes the legislative committee report. And I would like to thank Mr. Hankey for doing that on behalf of the superintendents in the First Spring District. That's necessary, and our students need that advocacy.
Madam President, what was that date again?
That'll be Thursday, February 18th. also have a report from the policy committee this evening. This evening, the policy committee asks that the Board of Education consider the policies, the first reading of the policies on the agenda tonight as item number 12. And the policy committee discussed during our last meeting the changes that were recommended by the Ohio School Board Association. It was 5 policies in which we're recommending that the Board of Education approve first reading tonight. The first policy is policy BDC, and that's in regards to executive sessions. That policy just changed some language, adding that the board may enter into executive session for consideration of the following matters, and it added and changed a few words in the policy. We also asked that the Board of Education approve the first reading this evening of policy EDE, and that is the computer/online services. And that policy, we recommend new language be added, and that language is the district reserve the right to amend policies and regulations as necessary throughout the school year. We also ask that the Board of Education approve the first reading that's on item number 12 of the agenda tonight for bonded policy number DH, and that's bonded employees and officers. And the policy committee adopted a second paragraph that was based on the recommendations of Mr. Saluka. And this policy also added new language, and that new language was under the district's liability insurance policy. The district also provides for appropriate bonding or insurance for non-employees collecting money on behalf of the district. We also ask that the Board of Education this evening approve the first reading of policy number DM, which is the deposit of public funds. New language was changed to reflect the deposit of public funds. And lastly, we ask that the Board of Education approve the first reading tonight of policy number DJB, and that's petty cash accounts. And this policy added a great deal of new language, including the board directs the treasurer to develop, distribute, and implement procedures for cash collection points in the district. If there's any questions, these policies were included as exhibits for your review. The policy committee did review them thoroughly and had thorough discussion. So on behalf of the policy committee, I do recommend this evening that the board approve the first reading of these policies, and that concludes my
President Daniels,
report.
real,
Yes,
real quick, it's the first and second reading. We're gonna do.
the first and second reading this evening. Thank you. And that concludes my report. This evening, the next item on our agenda is our presentations. And the first presentation that we have this evening is from Dale Krisniswick. And if you can please come up.
Good evening, everyone. Can everybody hear me from where you're?
Yeah, just like
We're doing
introduction, President Dales. I'm sorry, Mr. Krisnalik. Mr. Krisnalik, as we discussed at the work session, is going to talk about upcoming events that are going to be held with sports. Thank you, Mr. Krisnalik.
Yeah, with the staff returning to work and our students returning shortly, we felt it was in the best interest of our student athletes in our community to allow parents or immediate family members to attend our remaining boys basketball games. This was something that we discussed, and we felt that with the decrease in positive cases in Cuyahoga County, the fact that other LEL teams were allowing parents to attend games, and with how well our coaches and our student athletes have done staying safe, staying clean, staying healthy, that it was in the best interest of the community to allow these parents to attend. The way it's set up, one thing that COVID has taught us or helped us out is with our live streaming and our ticketing process. So our ticketing process would still be online, where we could limit the number of tickets to each kid to 2 tickets. That would be an individual code we can send out. So that way there's no sharing of codes. Once the code is used, it's null and void then. So you can't be passing it around from student to student. So that way we can assure that there's just the 2 immediate family members for each athlete. And this will be done, we've got 3 remaining home, or actually 3. One definitely, which would be Thursday against Brunswick. That would be a varsity only game. And then we've got potentially 2 sectional district games for our boys basketball on February 27th and March 3rd that we would allow fans, both home fans and away fans. We would keep one section of our bleachers. If you've been in our gym at all, we just have the kind of the home side bleachers. And there are 40 sections of seats. So we would allocate 25 to our home fans and 15 to the visitors fans. And those 25 would be broken down into 15 for our basketball players and 10 for our cheerleaders. And then the visiting fans would be the 15 for their players as well. Any questions about our attendance or allowing fans or anything like that?
Are we going to be taking temperatures, or do we have the our infrared at that entrance where the?
We do not have an infrared over there. We have talked about, with the guns taking temperatures. That is not definite yet or not. I know we take the temperatures of all our athletes, both our home side and the away side provides a sheet if we ask for it with their temperatures for the visiting team.
I think taking temperatures would be a good thing to do if we could make that happen.
Right, that would be something we can easily do. We've got enough of the temperature guns, so we could easily have somebody staying at each entrance and take temperatures. We even have the lines already in place, the 6-foot lines, because once the students start, they'll be entering the athletic complex as well, one of the grades. But we can make that accommodation and take temperatures.
I do think, also agree that, we should, if we're gonna be inviting fans, we should take the safest measures possible, and taking those temperatures will be necessary, in my opinion.
Nope, I agree. We've come this far and stayed this safe, so we might as well stay with what's worked and what's kept us healthy.
Absolutely. Any more questions? And the first game that we will be inviting fans to is which game again?
It'll be this Thursday, the 18th. We have senior nights, so we're allowing our senior parents to attend. That's against Brunswick, and it's just a varsity game. All of the games that we do have remaining will be, we'll just allow varsity fans. So that way we don't have to clear the gym, clean, sanitize, everything like that. So we just have our varsity fans in attendance. So that way we don't have to worry about cleaning or anything or disinfecting in between games.
Okay, if there's not any other comments or questions, thank you so much for your presentation before the board this evening.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Mr. Henke?
Thank you, President Daniels. I'm going to move over here. I believe the camera will follow me. I'd like to introduce again to the public Dr. Suzanne Miklos from OE Strategies. She facilitated with myself and with all of you our strategic plan that's on the board agenda for approval. With that, we also have a PowerPoint presentation where Dr. Miklos and myself are kind of going to go through and talk about what's entailed in the plan and the process and things of that nature. Dr. Miklos.
Thank you. So I just want to say what an honor it was, and I'm so happy to have been selected to go through this journey with you. I've been very impressed by the commitment and passion that people in your community, including the board, have for the schools. I'm very impressed with the opportunity to interact with the students. The wisdom from the young shows up in this plan, and so with that, we'll move right into it. But again, just thank you so much. It was such a pleasure and an honor to work with all of you.
Next slide is Bill.
So just to give a little reminder of our process, I looked back at the dates, and we began our journey in the fall of 19. And really, we're supposed to have our first big event early in March, which was moved because of COVID. So it's been a little spaced out. but certainly we appreciate all the participation and people's willingness to hang into these Zoom kind of environments. So we did start with a board retreat and spent some time on a Saturday discussing some of the elements of what we wanted to see in a portrait in the plan. We've had various meetings with the cabinet, also with the principals. We also had a meeting on October 7th that was a reschedule from March, where we had a very large representative group together to really start out and put the framework before these focus groups. You can see the focus groups that we held in the fall listed, and then we were able to send out a follow-up survey to really ask people to start to rank and comment on some of the things that have been discussed in all of these meetings. So a participative process, really appreciate the listening that all of you did to your community, your students, your families.
Slide. So if I could kind of take this. So we really worked with a lot of folks, and what we wanted to see is our vision. With a lot of public comment and comment from administration and from board members, we think this vision really does set us up for success in the next 5 years. It states, Garfield Heights City Schools, a premier educational institution, will be recognized throughout Ohio as fully preparing students to be leaders and equipped with real-world skills to contribute to a global economy. We really think that the leadership piece really, as Dr. Nicholas was telling me, really showed up with the students and parents. And we thought that was pretty unique in terms of some experiences you've had, correct, Dr. Nicholas?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, and also we wanted to capture the real world skills piece. You know, we have a great partnership with our Cuyahoga Valley Career Center. And we also, we would like to, with this plan, develop some more partnerships with businesses in the community and things of that nature to help our students. And obviously, we're in a global economy, right? This is 2021, and this is a situation, as we all saw, a lot of the technology helped us during the pandemic communicate and things of that nature. That's really been a sea change for us. The mission statement. One of the things that came out, let me read it first. As the heart of the community, Garfield Heights City Schools fully prepare students to pursue their dreams and give back as engaged citizens and future leaders. One of the things I think that also came out in the steering committee meetings and with the focus groups with parents was this idea that we are kind of as a lot of school districts are, the heart of the community. We really represent the hopes, dreams, and vision for the future for our community. Where our core mission is our youth and the development of our youth and the giving back as engaged citizens and future leaders was great that came out. You want to comment a little bit, Dr. Nicholas, on that?
Absolutely. I think a beautiful parallel in this plan and this discussion is that the city schools are seen as leaders in the community. You are really seen as central to who we are and where we're going as a community. And then that very much ties to the hopes that the families and students have. And so there's really this mutual inspiration that's going on in this plan when you look at this idea of centrality of the district and producing more people who will continue to support. So it for me just really resonated and fit with that idea of how we're mutually supporting each other.
So we have beliefs that came out of the plan. And those beliefs, again, came out of all the data points that we got. That our students will have a plan that prepares them to be employed, enrolled in career training or college, or to pursue an entrepreneurial career. The entrepreneurial piece was something that was unique to Garfield Heights City Schools that came out of the different groups. Relationships are at the core of our success. I believe that personally, and I'm so glad that came out in the plan. We are, we're in the business of building positive, good relationships with folks and with each other. Everyone is a leader, can make a difference in our community. certainly, again, that was kind of a running theme. And diversity, equity, and inclusion came out. Diversity of people, experience, and perspectives defines our schools. One of the pieces that we wanted to incorporate is the portrait of a graduate, which we introduced before the plan. We had it kind of working in tandem with the plan. And 4 areas came out for us. They were social and emotionally aware, leadership, equipped with real world skills, and career prepared. And we think this is a very nice piece that kind of encapsulates the outcomes we want for our graduates. And I think that makes no sense what you kind of felt as well.
Absolutely. So it becomes our promise to ourselves and to our students about what success looks like. And so as we look at a student graduating from kindergarten to 1st grade, into middle school, or into adulthood, all the way along the continuum, this can be a guidepost and really reflects the hearts of the students, the family, and the community.
What I really like about the graphical representation here is I think it's easily digestible for folks, and it's also something that gives our district a nice brand. So it says Garfield, it's a Garfield Heights portrait. So I really appreciated the way that was done. So what we did was, as the Board of Education does, but for the public, we looked at some pillars to start out with, and we said, what are our pillars? What types of goals should we have? And so what we're going to do is go through these pillars here in this. And the first one, and really central to our mission, is teaching and learning. And these goals really represent what we believe are specific and measurable, and they're attainable. And they will lead us to, have work that can go under them that would create actionable steps. So first, in teaching and learning, we have achieved yearly academic progress in math and reading, English and language arts, as it relates to national norms, which really echoes our NWEA math commitment. The second one is providing students with opportunities for creative and engaging assignments, both individually and collaboratively, that allow for problem solving and higher order thinking. And Dr. Nicholas, you want to speak to that, because that came out of some of the focus group work, didn't it?
Yep, absolutely. It comes from a couple of perspectives. So from a student perspective, it's about wanting to be meaningfully engaged and having some authorship of my learning. And from a community perspective, as we talk about employable skills, so regardless of whether people are going to go right into the workforce or to college, the employable skills have a lot to do with problem solving and being able to think about how I'm going to think about the problem. And so again, this nice symmetry between what our staff are talking about and the teachers are saying is important, what our students want to engage them, and then ultimately what our employers need in their workforce.
And this is great too, the offering frequent and very grade level appropriate opportunities for career exploration. I think sometimes we, in education, tend to focus on career exploration on the secondary level, right? But there are opportunities, even down to the elementary level, where we can expose students to alumni and to local and regional folks that could help them with their careers or what they may think they may want to accomplish. Diversity and inclusion, and in the plan we added the word equity for our plan. It's diversity, equity, inclusion. One of the things that has been something that we would like to get some action steps around is ensuring that a diverse candidate pools are identified for open positions. We believe that's a very important thing to expand and broaden our recruitment efforts to help diversify our staff. Providing staff training on cultural competence, humility, and on adapting differing needs of students in a way that makes all students feel dignified and valued. This really came out of a lot of the work I think the Equity Task Force has done. Again, I kind of jump-started that work a little bit ahead of the plan because I thought it was very necessary considering all the various events that have happened. And I think that this really, this has already kicked off, right? So the staff has just had a whole round of diversity, equity, and inclusion training. And now we can do some actionable things around that and have a more of a centered plan over the next few years. Self-advocacy of students to become a leader in culture of kindness. Dr. Nicholas, can you speak to that with the student groups? I found that very intriguing and a good thing.
Absolutely. So what students talked about, and this will tie into our co-curriculars as well, what students talked about is as you move through that journey of school, learning to have voice, learning to speak up for yourself, not to be afraid to speak to another student about how you want to be treated and not being afraid to ask an adult for help or assistance when you need it. So part of leadership is self-leadership. And so for me, this is a really important foundational piece of the plan. And it really, I like that word empower. So we want to think about how we treat people, but we also want to think about how people are empowered to ask for how they want to be treated.
The third pillar, we kind of went round and round about as we were kind of saying, what do we want in the plan and what do we want to say in terms of social, emotional health, trauma-informed education, and various other initiatives and things we're doing in the district and kind of coming up with a plan for that. We came up with the pillar of wellness. One of the things with this is that it does coincide with the state's strategic plan, and they have backed that financially. So that really helps that there is a part of the plan that is kind of dovetails on what they're doing at the state level. And what we've done also then is put our own Garfield Heights spin on it. So these read: encourage participation in co-curricular activities, arts, athletics, and volunteerism to support relationship building and leadership skills. I think as many of us do know how important co-curricular activities are. And I'd like Dr. Nicholas to share some of the students' perspectives on it.
Absolutely. So when I first went around the Zoom room to ask students what they liked best about school, the response was sports or it was a co-curricular activity in every case. And so as I started thinking about and asking them more questions, you know, why is that? Is it because it's fun? Well, yes. But really why that is that it's where students are learning to develop those bonds. Students talked about how important it was as a middle school student to have somebody to look up to who was maybe an older student, how it really created the ability to feel safe, to feel included, to feel part of things. And that's where a lot of lessons around leadership and teamwork are really being taught. So this creates so much peer learning that for me, it's well beyond a physical and social emotional outlet. It's part of your fabric of inclusion.
We want to continue and to grow partnerships that ensure students have access to services for physical, mental, and emotional health. The district has many partnerships with agencies. I think we come with some very actionable things to improve that and to make it so it's really woven into the fabric of Garfield Heights, that emotional support that students and families can get either through us or we as a conduit to bring those services to them. The third point here is we want to incorporate social emotional approach to learning, allowing students opportunities to process and integrate their social skills at school. This is really, and I'll toot Mr. Patton's horn here. This is kind of a PBIS piece. As our year over year, our schools are awarded by the state on our efforts for PBIS, and we want that to be woven into the whole culture and fabric of the schools, and we want to continue that process that Mr. Patton has started and maintained and grown over the years. And in fact, in a pandemic year, we also won all those awards. So we're quite proud of that. And again, that dovetails into form, PBIS. Social skills are super important for everyone and for our students to be successful. Facilities, learning, and resources. Actually, Mr. Salute, if I could put you on the spot, do you mind kind of going through this one for us?
No,
I may have not informed him that he was going to be part of the presentation.
It's easy to do. 3 areas that we identified as part of our focus group is the middle school, the athletic facilities. Those were kind of obvious. Those are kind of the oldest facilities of our district. And then the resource piece. So I think the biggest thing we wanted to do is let's address the middle school. We don't know what that's going to look like. We don't want to just say we're building a new middle school. Our current middle school has limitations. So what we want to do is focus on those limitations and then come up with a plan that incorporates the modern, open, and collaborative learning environment. So whether that's building new, whether that's renovating, but we want to make sure we can incorporate whatever limitations that the current middle school has into what is the best learning environment for our students in a middle school type of setting. So that's the first goal. The second one is for update athletic facilities to meet our investment in the health and wellness of our students and community. We look at, we all focus on what's right outside our building here, but we need to focus on more of, if we're going to do something with that, what can we do that brings not just our students together, but the community together in a type of wellness thing, along with increasing, enhancing opportunities for our kids, whether it's a turf field where all the students go, whether it's an all-weather track, whether it's a gathering place, an all-weather track where people in the community can come up and walk the track, or other sports facility that's open and area to the community that they can come up and just walk or exercise or do some sort of things. Looking at that, so that's incorporating not just our students but the community too, that they can take advantage of it. And the last thing is when we talk about resources, I look at it from a purely financial piece of resources, and I looked at to develop a plan to stabilize the district's financial outlook and provide some necessary resources to invest in technology, which is key. Technology is key to the learning environment of the student today to stay up on the latest technology things. So we want to incorporate that, an innovative learning environment, which gets back to labs, any type of other learning environment that gives our students that advantage that we talked about in our vision and mission, and while providing an educational program and enhance success for students and staff. But we have to, when I say stabilize finances, but we have to be able to have the finances to do all those things that we want to do. So we have to look and plan our finances and stabilize that picture, however that looks, to ensure that all of a sudden our finances don't run out and then all our big plans gets laid to the side. So we need to focus on that piece of it too from a financial aspect. So those are the 3 of our areas.
Thanks, Mr. Slick. I appreciate it. In community and family engagement, the district made a commitment last year to invest in a family and community engagement coordinator. Ms. Gina Wilson has taken on that role and has really just put her own stamp on it and done very well at reaching out to families and communities with programming and with resources. So one of the 3 main points here are we want to engage families as partners in their students' education by making parents feel welcome as volunteers and participants in the educational process. So important to try to make sure that our buildings and our facilities and our people are welcoming and folks have volunteer opportunities that are broad in our district. We want to engage community and business volunteers in providing students mentoring, job shadowing, and internships. And Dr. Nicholas, this kind of came out in some of the focus group too.
Absolutely. And the nice thing is it came from the community. It did not just come from the staff. So it's not just the staff saying that we would welcome and like this, which of course is true, but the community is also saying, let's have clear, easy, visible pathways for us to come in and help this work. And I'm sure you notice as we go through the plan, when in one section we talk about career opportunities, in another section we talk about how the community can be involved in that.
We want to work to generate community support for school funding by publicizing the value that GHCS brings to the community and to continue on with what I believe is our action steps within a communication strategy that I believe is one of the hallmarks of our district is communication and improving that and making it more deeply felt for parents. And Dr. Nicholas, do you want to go over this? Because you probably
Sure.
understand, you probably have some insight into this from other plans.
Absolutely. So just working on plans, it's important to me because I know it's important to you that your plan uniquely reflects your community. And so I just wanted to share with you sort of from my experience getting to work with you, things that really stood out to me that make this plan special. And the first one really is that students as leaders, that clear focus that we're developing future leaders all through the grade levels. The second, the deep commitment to DEI. The staff really talked a lot about students who learn differently, students who might have a disability, students who might come from a different background or have different expectations that they need to manage outside of school. So really looking at DEI from the perspective of all differences and embracing those and helping all students succeed. So I thought the depth of understanding was really special. The community engagement, your community sees the schools as a jewel of the community and want to support and to be involved and have such enthusiasm and passion and love for the school and the students. I thought that was amazing. And then finally, the well-being piece. I think having that well-being be its own pillar, and that was really the wisdom of this board, to pull that into its own and separate conversation. And so I congratulate you on that as well, to sort of be brave enough to say, we're really looking at fully prepared students, which means we have well-being as well as the teaching and learning piece. So those were just the things that I wanted to reflect back to you that I felt really stood out about your plan.
Next steps, and I'll go over these, and Dr. Nicholas can dovetail with me. We want to refine the goals and actions with measurables. We want to conduct a workshop with the board and leadership team to understand baseline data and measures that need to be developed to discuss change management. We want the board to determine its process to use the plan. We want to develop communication tools to cascade the strategic plan throughout the district and the community. Right? We want this to be our plan that really reflects our values and mission and vision of the district. Does that make sense?
You did a great job.
Okay. That is? Okay. I would personally, first of all, like to thank the Board of Education for their support and for making sure that we come up with a plan that really reflects the values of this school district, of the parents, of the students. I'd like to thank everyone that participated. Students, parents, community members, business leaders. We had the steering committee, we had the focus groups. We had, even from the teachers to the cabinet, my cabinet, and to the administrators that participated in the plan formation. There was a lot of work with the community and behind the scenes work to come up with what we believe is a very good strategic plan that can guide us in the next 5 years in this district. President Daniels, we're obviously open to any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Henry, and thank you, Suzanne, for all your hard work on this plan. I honestly could say that I'm glad to be at this point with this, and it's just a good feeling to have input from the community, the students, the teachers, every stakeholder of the community, and it gives me hope that through this plan we will begin to see student success in our district began to improve. Is there any questions that the Board of Education have of Suzanne or Mr. Hankey as it relates to the presentation this evening?
I have a comment or a question.
Yes.
Just as an alum, I'm very proud of this strategic plan. I think that it is us as Bulldogs. I'm very proud of the progress that we've made since the beginning. It's been very fine-tuned, so thank you guys for putting in the work for that. I see the work and it looks good. And I'm just really excited to create some action steps and get to work.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. We appreciate the comments.
Thank you.
Ms. Morrison?
just looking forward to putting those action steps in place, and also, you know, just for the public, this is a fluid document.
Yes.
So it's not that these are the absolute fine bullet points. As we continue to grow over the next 5 years, this is our framework. And I think we have an awesome framework, but we are always fine tuning, and as we hit those benchmarks, we may hit benchmarks early and add more benchmarks. So we have a great framework for which to start.
Appreciate that, Ms. King. And again, on behalf of everyone on my team and in the community, you know, we're pretty proud of the product. And that's absolutely an on-point comment. This needs to be a fluid document, or else, you know, it won't work. We need to, you know, work at it.
I do have just one question as it relates to timeline and our next steps. When will we begin to expect to start creating these measurable goals, having the workshops? What is the timeline you're proposing that we begin the work?
Well, I think in my mind, the first piece is tonight, and then after that, I would like to start a pretty intensive campaign, as Dr. Nicholas pointed out, cascading this out to the public, especially the vision and mission, and then this spring I think we need to start on action steps and things of that nature. But I kind of want to sit down after the approval of the plan with my cabinet and kind of come up with a plan of action for that, if that makes some sense.
Yes. Thank you. Any more questions or comments? Thank you again so much, Mr. Hankey and Suzanne. Like the comments tonight, I must agree. It just feels really good to be here. This is most definitely a great day in Garfield Heights City School District. The adoption of this new strategic plan. It's a new vision and a new mission for our district, and we are ready to put in the work. So thank you so much for your leadership in this strategic plan development, Mr. Hankey. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, very good.
The next item on our agenda this evening, in honor of Black History Month, there is a video presentation.
The Garfield Heights City Schools would like to encourage our community to actively celebrate Black History Month.
Black History Month commemorates the achievements and advancements of African Americans throughout the span of our nation's history.
These achievements were accomplished by activists, and some were accomplished by average citizens who were dedicated to grand ideas and beliefs.
These individuals took the time to stand up and in some cases fight very hard for the things they thought were right and fair.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a leader in the civil rights movement, fought tirelessly to end racism and famously proclaimed that violence is not the answer. Ending injustice and discrimination today would help us achieve history.
Every year in February, we celebrate, recognize, and honor the African Americans that helped us to change history.
Dr. King's words in this month reminds us all to be strong in our careers, in politics, and death and life.
During Black History Month, we are reminded to value and cherish what is inside of you, and that how you treat other people means everything.
It doesn't really matter who you are, Black or white. You should always celebrate who you are and who other people are, and respect that the path that was cleared by Black leaders in order for all of us to be here right now.
Black History Month is important because it means a great deal for me to know my heritage and where we came from.
I have to remember the people who came before.
We are all unique individuals, endowed with certain inalienable rights, and we need to stand up.
While there is still discrimination in the world, We must rise above it and model the change we wish to see. We still fight for what is right, but we do so with kindness and respect. On behalf of everyone in the Garfield Heights City Schools, thank you for joining us in celebrating Black History Month.
That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Oh, wow. Thank you to the students and staff members that put together that beautiful commemoration of Black History Month. That was truly a reflection of the heartbeat and the diversity and the commitment of our district to celebrate all people. Thank you guys so much. That was wonderful. The next item on our agenda this evening is our superintendent's report. Mr. Hankey.
Thank you, Madam President. Students will return to the classroom on Monday, March 8th, in a hybrid learning model whereby students in grades K through 12, whose last name begins with the letters A through L, which we are calling Group A, will attend in-person learning Mondays and Tuesdays, while students with the last names beginning with the letters M through Z, which we are calling Group B, will attend in-person learning Thursdays and Fridays. Wednesdays for all students will be an asynchronous remote learning day, while the buildings are deeply sanitized. When the students in each group are not reporting to in-person learning, for example, Group A on Thursday and Friday, they will be able to Zoom into their classes to get live instruction from their teachers. And students choosing to learn from a remote environment can also log into their classrooms by Zoom technology for all 4 days. To prepare for students' return on March 8th, district officials have regularly walked through buildings preparing with a variety of safety measures and deep cleaning protocols, including thermal imaging, ionization, and cleansing protocols for all shared and frequently touched surfaces. The district is also preparing by developing a variety of resources to remind parents, students, and families of things to keep in mind. We have a series of Together Safely videos that have been posted on our respective building pages and on social media for your information. So whatever building you your student happens to attend, please log into those building websites. And we have a really nice group of videos to walk parents through how the days will go. A key reminders document is available for download that you may reference as well on the website. Please take a moment to use these resources that the district has assembled for everyone's safe return. More information will be and is forthcoming from your buildings. The district is proud to present a strategic plan tonight, a foundational document that will serve as our roadmap for the next 3 to 5 years. With community input and leadership from the Board of Education, the Garfield Heights school family can now begin the process of forging ahead together and linked with a common purpose. Our mission, as the heart of the community, Garfield Heights City Schools fully prepares students to pursue their dreams and give back as engaged citizens and future leaders. Our vision, Garfield Heights City Schools, a premier educational institution, will be recognized throughout Ohio as fully preparing students to be leaders equipped with real-world skills to contribute to a global society. In expressing my gratitude to those involved in making this process successful, I ask us all to refocus our efforts to now fulfilling this mission and vision and the goals contained within. The community will have the opportunity to see the strategic plan online and learn more about it through our various communication channels. February is Black History Month, and the levels to which the Garfield Heights City Schools has elevated its importance is quite impressive. Thanks to the hard work of Yolanda Hamilton and Gina Wilson and others, our school family has developed a list of activities that have been designed to honor and recognize the accomplishments and milestones of African Americans in our nation's history. I encourage you to take a tour of Stack's Recording Studio virtual, or listen to a message from an impassioned member of the Cleveland Black Storytellers organization. You can also play Black History Month Bingo. Just go to our website and social media for more details about all of these activities designed to celebrate Black history. You can see the video that was created as an enduring tribute to celebrating this important month. Finally, Madam President, I want to thank Mrs. Christine Kitson for her service to the Board of Education and formally welcome Ms. Heather Morrison. I look forward to working with you. Thank you. And Madam President, this concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Hankey. Is there any comments or questions relative to the superintendent's report tonight? Thank you. With no comments or questions, we will move on to the next item on our agenda, and that will be remarks from the public regarding agenda items. Garfield Heights City School District policy reads as all meetings of the board and the board appointing committees are open to the public. In order for the board to fulfill its obligation to complete the planned agenda in an effective and efficient fashion, a maximum of 30 minutes of public participation may be permitted at each meeting. Each person addressing the board shall give his or her name and address. If several people wish to speak, each person is allotted 3 minutes until the total time of 30 minutes is used. During that period, no person may speak twice until all who desire to speak have had the opportunity to do so. Persons desiring more time should allow the procedure of the board to be placed on the regular agenda. The period of public participation may be extended by a vote of the majority of the board present and voting. Agendas are available to those who attend board meetings. The section of the agenda for public participation shall be indicated. Mr. Saluka, do we have any?
We have no one signed up for agenda items, or
Okay.
he has emailed me for an agenda item.
So there are no public comments for agenda items, regarding the agenda items. If the public would like to make remarks, there is another section for remarks of the public regarding miscellaneous school items. And those remarks can be sent to asluka@ghbulldogs.org. Again, those remarks can be sent to asluka@bulldogs.org. Would there be, excuse me?
I'm sorry, Madam President. asluka@ghbulldogs.org.
Sorry.
Just want to make sure.
Sorry. Thank you. With there being no remarks of the public regarding agenda items, we are moving on to our next item on our agenda, which is the recommendation of the treasurer. Can I get a motion to approve the financials for January 2021? So moved. And a second?
Second.
Mr. Sluka, that was moved by Ms. King and second by Ms. Thomas. Can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Mr. Daniels.
Yes. Is there any discussion as it relates to that item? With there being no discussion, allow that to record for 4 votes yes. The next item on our agenda is the board recommendation section. And the first item, can I get a motion for the Board of Education to approve the district strategic, this is appointed the district strategic plan?
Task force.
Task
yes, it is.
force. So we don't need, this evening, we don't need a vote on that, correct?
We do, because we're going to appoint the members.
Okay.
We're approving the task force, and we're appointing the members to represent the board on that task force.
Okay.
So we just need to fill in the members and have that approved.
So this evening, we will be appointing members to a new committee for our district, which will be the District Strategic Plan Task Force. And this evening, I would like to appoint both myself and Ms. King to that task force. Is that? Yes. I'm just looking through all my notes. Can I get a motion to approve the appointment of those board members to this newly developed committee
I
and
make
task
a
force?
motion to approve Michelle and Millette, Ms. Daniels and Ms. King to the strategic plan task force.
And a second?
I second.
With that being moved by Ms. Thomas and second by Ms. Morrison, can I have roll call, please, Mr. Sluka?
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Mr. Daniels.
Yes. Our next order on the agenda is we need to fill 2 vacancies on the board. The one is our Legislative Committee with Ms. Kitson that left the vacancy. And I would like a motion to approve both myself and Ms. Thomas being added to that committee. Can I get a motion for the Legislative Committee?
So
I second.
That was moved by Ms. King and second by Ms. Morris. Can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. King,
yes.
Ms. Morris,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Daniels.
Yes. And then this evening, we will also like to appoint members to a newly developed committee, which will be our Finance Committee. And this evening, I would like a motion to approve my appointment of Ms. Morrison and myself to the Finance Committee. Can I receive a motion for that approval, please?
I have a question. Since these are all in the same agenda item, should it just be one motion or separate?
Mm,
You could do it either way. It doesn't, yeah.
We're just trying to figure out some issues as it relates to the utilization of board docs.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I make a motion to approve the new Finance Committee.
Second.
That was moved by Ms. Thomas, second by Ms. King. Is there any other discussion? With no other discussion, can I have roll call, please?
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Ms. Daniels.
Yes. And the next item on our agenda tonight is the right to consulting keys.
Can we
Yep.
backtrack?
Yes.
Daniels? We have an open position, the board has an open position with the legislative liaison. I'm not sure you want to fill it or if you want to incorporate that into the legislative committee. The only thing the legislative liaison does is it's the school district representation to the Ohio School Boards Association to their legislative work. It can go one or two ways. I mean, logically, you probably just want to appoint somebody that's on the legislative committee to be your also legislative liaison to
Yes.
OSBA.
Yes. So, yes, can I have a motion to approve the appointment of Ms. Ashley Thomas as the legislative liaison for the Ohio School Board Association on behalf of Garfield Heights City School District?
So moved.
A second, please.
I second.
That was moved by Ms. King, second by Ms. Morrison. Is there any discussion? With no discussion, may I have roll call, please?
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Daniels.
Yes. Our next matter on our agenda is the right to consulting keys LLC contract. Can I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve this contract.
And a second?
Second.
That was moved by Ms. Thomas, second by Ms. King. Is there any discussion prior to roll call?
Yes, how often will we be meeting with right to consulting keys?
This is actually a year-long training for the Board of Education. And what it's going to do is it's going to train us on the equity piece through a governance lens. So it will help us support the district on the governance level as it relates to moving forward with our strategic plan, which equity is most definitely the foundation in which all the pillars sit on. Although we have a DEI pillar, equity is actually what everything is filtered through. This will be a year-long contract with this consultant to support the Board of Education with training. We will establish a schedule with her. She will be doing various retreats with us, training, and then there will be like some book club type things. We will have some independent work to do, some assignments to support us as a Board of Education and strengthening our equity lens, just so that we'll have the governance side. Mr. Hankey and his administration with Ms. Hamilton They are working on things on the administrative side and from the ground up. And Ms. Keys will be supporting the Board of Education so that we'll see it through the actual governance lens and just not equity through the lens of education, through administration, but we need to strengthen our lens on the governance side. So once we secure this contract, there will be work for us to do as a Board of Education, but we will begin to plan those dates with Ms. Keys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. Will there be an opportunity for both the board, our consultant, and the administration and Ms. Hamilton to work together so that as we are working from the top down, that we have a shared language and understanding, so that as we're moving from the top down and the bottom up, that there's common language and shared understanding?
Absolutely. It's a collaboration between the whole body. Ms. Hamilton and our consultant will most definitely be working hand in hand, and our consultant will actually be working alongside with Mr. Hankey. Just assisting our governance lens is based upon the vision and how our superintendent is administrating our school district. Any other comments or discussion or questions? With no more discussion, can we have roll call, please?
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Mr. Daniels?
Yes. Our next order on the agenda this evening is the superintendent recommendations. And can I have a motion to approve? Yes, can I have a motion to approve the certified staff items that is listed on our agenda this evening? And I guess the first, it's just real interesting the way this board docs is, because this is usually separated out. So we're trying to figure this out.
So we can move and waive them together. So I make a motion that we approve the superintendent's recommendation on the certified contracts as presented in 11.1.
Second.
That was moved by Ms. King and second by Ms. Thomas. Is there any discussion? With there being no discussion on the matter, roll call, please.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Mr. Daniels?
Yes. Our next item on the agenda is the approval of recommendations of the superintendent as it relates to our certified staff. Can I get a motion to approve all items?
I think
classified staff.
Madam President?
We only just approved the first one of the certified. We need to approve the second one of the certified. They approved the following teachers participating in McGraw-Hill Dance. So we need a motion second to approve that, Madam President.
Yeah, so if I can get a motion to approve the classified staff.
I make a motion that we approve classified staff professional development for their 4-week virtual participation in the McGraw-Hill Leadership Series that will help with our math, in the area of math.
Second.
That was moved by Ms. King, and that was second by Ms. Thomas. Is there any discussion? With there being no discussion, Mr. Sluka, can you take roll call, please?
Yes, Ms. King?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels?
Yes. And the next order on the agenda is the approval of supplemental contracts. Can I get a motion for the
We need
approval?
to, we step back. We approved the first two certified, so we're now into the classified one. I think what ends up happening is what we need to do is, as we get through this board docs and stuff, but I think that we need to look at it as we can, approval of the whole consent piece for classified, certified, each item, and we'll have to look at what language it does that, and we can itemize them out so everybody has a clear picture. It is real confusing.
Yeah, because used to,
Right.
our agenda used to separate
Right.
these
So we're,
pieces out as certain items, so.
I think the way we need to, we're going
Gotcha.
to approve the classified items as listed below, type of thing as a consent for 11.2, and maybe we can do 11.2A, 2B, and then approval as items 11.2A through 2C or something like that. We need to do a little more research for the classified and the certified, so we can capture all that without going through each one.
Okay, so where are we at?
So we're at the classified. So we're at the classified items as presented. The first one being the classified contracts presented below. The other one is to change of positions. There's accept the resignation as presented below, and then the leave of absences. Those are the 4 items under the classified that you will be approving.
Okay, so everything in there for going in, so like 11.1, that's everything in that agenda item is everything is listed for the classified. 11.2, everything that's listed for the classified.
So
I make a motion that we approve contracts, resignations, and leave of absences for classified staff as listed in 11.2.
And MOU.
And the MOU.
well, the MOU you could probably take right and the MOU.
And the MOU
Right.
as listed in 11.2.
We'll get there.
Yes. Because I know it
Work in
works
progress,
out.
as
We're
we
not
say.
the first ones ever to use board.
Right. So
So
that's a work in progress.
we just gotta figure out how to do this.
We got to get into a groove.
Yeah. This
Right.
is nice.
Well, it looks like someone is updating it right now, right?
Yeah, he's putting
I'm
live
putting it in.
voting.
That's nice.
Yes.
I second that.
Okay. So that was moved by Ms. King and second by Ms. Thomas. Is there any discussion on any of the items? Would there be no discussion, may I have roll call, please?
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Ms. Daniels.
Yes. Okay, so are we at supplemental contracts?
Yeah, this one's kind of straightforward.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Can I have a motion to approve the supplemental contracts as outlined in item 11.3, please?
Slow move.
Second.
That was moved by Ms. Thomas, second by Ms. King. Is there any discussion? With there being no discussion, can I have roll call, please, Mr. Super?
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Ms. Daniels.
Yes. Okay, we got that. With our next item is the approval of the policy items, and just like with the superintendent recommendations, usually policy items are itemized, but they are in one item this evening. So can I get a motion to approve the policies that were presented by the policy committee this evening?
I make a motion to approve the first and second readings of the policies as presented in item number 12.1.
And can I get a second, please?
Second.
That was moved by Ms. King, that was moved by Ms. Thomas, second by Ms. King. Is there any discussion? With there being no discussion, may I have roll call, please?
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels?
Yes. Our next item on the agenda is the approval of A+ Learning and Development Centers. Can I have a motion to approve that item?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
That was moved by Ms. Thomas, second by Ms. Morrison. Is there any discussion? With there being no discussion, can I have roll call, please?
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels?
Yes. The next item on the agenda is, can I have a motion to approve the contract with Roar and Garrett?
So moved.
Second.
That was moved by Ms. King, second by Ms. Thomas. Can I have roll call, please?
Ms. King?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels?
Yes. The next item on our agenda, can I have a motion to approve the, can I have a motion to approve the Garfield Heights City Schools District Strategic Plan as presented?
So moved.
Second.
That was moved by Ms. King, second by Ms. Thomas. Can I have roll call, please?
Ms. King?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels?
Yes. This area of our agenda is the remarks from the public regarding miscellaneous school items. Mr. Slupa, do we have any remarks at this time?
I do have an email here from a Mr. Rose, who said they sent, who indicated that he sent a letter to the board and was wondering if anything has been discussed about the possibility of Music Express being able to practice and not be 6 feet apart. I see pictures of all sports teams with very little change in what they are doing. Some are masked, some aren't. You're not socially distancing, but Express can't dance. So.
Yeah, President Dale, if I don't mind, and Mr. Rose, I completely understand your question. One of the issues with dancing, it isn't necessarily the dancing right now, it's the singing that goes along with it. And I am working with Ms. Hager as the cases go down, and with the vocal music, and Mr. Cron's working with the vocal music group. They're a little different because they're not an OHSA organization. So they're making some recommendations. They are loosening some restrictions, and we will work to do that. I don't know if there was something there about competition, but I do know that Mr. Cron, Music Express Group, did decide to not do competitions this year. They're looking forward to doing something this spring. If that makes some sense.
Who governs the Music Express?
They really don't have a state governing body like the Ohio High School Athletic Association. I don't believe the marching bands do either. They do have an association, as does the marching bands and choir. They did come up with guidelines throughout the pandemic. One of the issues in the pandemic was we saw a few super spreader events in the country that had to do specifically with choirs, with singing indoors, and so we were very careful. We did make as many accommodations as we thought we could without endangering everyone. But as we've seen, and hopefully as this progresses, we can start to keep loosening things down a little bit so they can do some more things.
So the restrictions that we had in place were those CDC recommendations?
CDC, ODH, Cuyahoga County Board of Health. I'm in communication with the Board of Health every, they're not every week now, but generally Terry Allen, one of the health commissioners, gets on with all of the area superintendents in the county and the region. And we ask them these questions. And for Mr. Rose, I will bring that up next week too. So, and to see what they would, they don't have, I will say this, we get to make our own decisions, but obviously we like to defer to the health authorities. So I'd like to hear what their input is now. These things are changing rapidly in a good direction.
So as we have those discussions, we're trying to advocate for some of those to be loosened for Music Express, just like we've done with sports.
Yes,
and
I'm
bringing
just,
fans
yeah.
back and all that stuff.
Yep, I'm just a little more wary with that particular activity, not because I'm obviously a huge proponent of Music Express. I just want to be safe. And there's a lot of discussion and things from the CDC or the Board of Health about singing in enclosed areas. We just had a discussion because we don't have a lot of students that we think are going to be in person for the choir at Music Express. So we're under discussion about utilizing the choir again for the first time. Before we were spread out through the PAC. So we'd like to utilize the the practice avenues that they have. So yeah, we are considering all those things.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond.
You're welcome.
That was the only one that sent me an email.
Thank you. Prior to closing up our meeting this evening, do any of our board members have any comments that they would like to make to the community or Mr. Hankey? Okay, with that being said, I would like to thank everybody for their participation in tonight's board meeting. Thank you again, Mr. Hankey, for all your hard work and diligence with bringing all the stakeholders together to create the strategic plan for the Garfield Heights City School District. The end result is a reflection of your strong leadership of the district. So I do thank you for that. I would like to announce our next board meeting, which will be on March 8th, 2021 at 6 p.m. That will be a special board meeting / work session. And then our regular board meeting for March is scheduled for March 15th, 2021 at 6 p.m. I would like a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting at 7:32.
Second.
That was moved by Ms. Thomas, second by Ms. King. If I can get a roll call, please.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels?
Yes. Adjourned.
Nice.
Thank you.